Welcome back to another episode of My Dad's Rants, a segment of My Dad's podcast. Before I get started, here's a word from our sponsors. Bologna, Arkansas, inconveniently located just northeast of Conway, a place we refer to as Tornado Alley, is reminding us all that April is fastly approaching and with it comes tornado season. So when spring cleaning comes around, please get out and pick up your yard before the tornadoes hit and all your shit becomes all of our shit. Oak Street, the only place in Conway you can walk on a sidewalk and be beat to death, physically, mentally, and emotionally, by ongoing traffic. And finally, last but not least, the Golden Corral. Why would anybody go to a restaurant with the name Corral in it, unless you just enjoy feeling like a farm animal going to trough? What's up, and welcome to another episode of My Dad's Rant, a segment of My Dad's podcast. Hey, I wanted to give props to this Travis Kauffman kid. I don't know if any of you guys have been paying attention in social media or even local national news, but this dude just fended off a mountain lion while he was on a trail in Colorado, and he killed this mountain lion with his bare hands, man. And it just got me to thinking as I was listening to his story how many times I've been in a situation in the Colorado Rockies where it's just me and my uncle, or it's just been me and I was on one of those desolate trails, just always being cautious, but just, never really thinking that it was going to be a life or death situation like it turned out for Travis. Anyways, a little bit about Travis. Turns out Travis is from Mountain Home, Arkansas, which is a beautiful part of Arkansas. You need to go check it out if you're locally in the area, or if you're out of state and you're just looking for a place to camp and hike and be on the lake. Real nice man-made lake up there, Lake North Fork. I had the privilege of living just east of that whole area during parts of my life, and we just really loved being out on Lake North Fork up there. I got a few friends who are from there. Got a couple nieces and nephews who were born there. So Travis Kauffman, man, moves to Fort Collins, Colorado to take on some job, and he becomes this avid outdoorsman, which he probably was before he got there, but now he's like in the mecca of the outdoors life there, and he's out there doing these trails and these hiking paths, constantly. So to be out there that day on February 4th wasn't nothing out of the norm for him or even unusual. It's just something he got up and did, kind of like that 27 Days guy. I can't think of his name right now, but just one of those things where he just gets up and goes, and really doesn't inform people on where he's at or where he's going or what he's got going on that day. He just goes, it's just part of his lifestyle. And so he goes jogging this trail and just doing what he normally does when all of a sudden this mountain lion jumps out on the trail behind him. So he hears the scatter in the bushes before the mountain lion jumps out, and he turns around and he sees the mountain lion. And the mountain lion at this point, he was saying in the interview, I highly recommend you go watch his interview. It's all over YouTube and social media right now, and I'm sure the news will be airing it, probably if they hadn't already, national news. But the mountain lion is like literally 10 feet away from him when he notices. So he goes big, right? His hands are up and he's roaring, "Rah!" And he's trying to scare it, which is an instinct that we all have or was taught to us somewhere. And we learned it. Usually when you're trying to fend off any kind of wild animal, you just want to make yourself bigger and roar and just shoo it away, but not in this case. That mountain lion started creeping slowly. Then it got to a certain point and it lunged at him. So about the time it's lunging, Travis is saying, well, I'm going to 86 this hole. I'm bigger and louder than you. And he just goes into a defense mode where he was saying his arms just kind of cover his face, which, we all have that facial protective instinct. Just a lot of vital organs going on our face, you know what I mean? Our eyeballs, our sense of smell, our mouth. It's just one thing you just don't want to get jacked up, So because he was able to quickly react and cover his face, that mountain lion was snatched onto his wrist. And they, from there it turned into a wrestling match. They went off the trail. They're rolling down the hill. And the mountain lion ended up on its back, where at this point in time, Travis was able to pin it. But anybody knows when a cat's on their back, they start kicking their back paws fiercely, and they're trying to roll over because that's where they have the most advantage at, is on all fours, So the mountain lion was not able to do that. Amongst all the rolling and wrestling around, Travis was able to take his right knee and pin the mountain lion down. And he was grabbing things with his left hand while the mountain lion was just steadily gnawing on his wrist and trying to flip over. And he was trying to stab this mountain lion with sticks, man. But it's wintertime out there, so all these sticks that are on the ground, they've fallen off trees. They're all just brittle, they're frozen. So he couldn't get nothing to stab this mountain lion with. And finally, he was able to grab a rock, and he's hitting this mountain lion in the head with the rock, and it's just not doing nothing. So he has an advantage at this point. He's able to at least get up to his knee, where he, kind of in this crouch position, and he was able to stick his foot over this mountain lion's neck. And then he just put all his weight onto that foot to where it just, eventually just choked that mountain lion out and killed it. At this point, Travis gets back up to the trail. He's bleeding, he's got adrenaline going through him. His body's probably going into shock at this time too. He's able to run down the trail, where he just comes into interaction with other people, and he's trying to recruit them to help him and get him to a hospital and get his truck from where originally he had parked. And so all these people, man, that's what I love about people. They just pitch in during that time of need and just, let's take care of what we got going on. Let's help this dude out. So they got him to a hospital. They got his car there so it would be available when he was out of the hospital or released from the hospital. And they just turned this guy's worst day into, a better day for him. I'm not going to say it'd be his best day, but just turned it into a better day for him. And as I'm sitting here reading and listening to this story, I'm just thinking, man, how crazy is that? We're just so unaware of life's dangers and what can happen at any given time. And I've had my kids on those types of trails, when we lived out in Colorado, and I couldn't imagine the ability or inability I would go through if I had to step up into a fight or flight situation. And I don't think any of us ever really do until we're put there. But I just know that I am due for an adrenaline rush. So when that comes, I know my adrenaline's going to fill my body. And, I'm hoping the shock factor can help me just maintain and sustain what I need to do to get through whatever happens or was happening in my life at that time. But, one of the biggest things that I can think of when I'm listening to these types of stories, and you hear them all the time. In California, there was a guy who was mountain biking. He was, what is it called? He was the mountain lion. Same thing, kind of a similar situation, but the mountain lion was stalking him. He noticed the mountain lion, and he knew he wasn't going to be able to beat it on his bike, so he just got off his bike, but he kept his bike posted between him and the mountain lion the whole time. And literally after about 10 or 15 minutes, I think the story said, the mountain lion just gave up and said, you're not worth it, dude, because he could not get in between him and the bike. And the guy just kept his bike the whole time playing this cat and mouse game with this mountain lion, and that dude became the victor over it. And he didn't even get a scar on him at all. I mean, no scratches at all, fortunately for him, but still, it's one of those situations where for 15 minutes he's playing this game with this mountain lion, and a lot of people are just prone to giving up and just thinking, it's done. Travis could have done that. It's done, but we get into this fight or flight mode, which I honestly think comes from a positive mental attitude. And you have to maintain this positive mental attitude throughout your whole life in order to be successful, in order to be driven, in order to survive a situation. You have to keep your mind trained for that. You can train your body all day long. Is that going to help? Yes, it helps. Every little bit helps. Absolutely. Be in the gym, training your body. Be on a gun range, training your body. Be somewhere, training your body. But mostly important, train your brain to be positively mentally charged, because that's where everything's going to come together and help keep you out of a situation or keep you the victor of a situation. I can't express it enough. If you think you're done, you're done. You know what I mean? Like, you go into a fight, and if you feel you've already lost a fight, you're going to lose the fight. There's no way you're going to win the fight if you've already felt you lost it before the bell even rung, or before the bell even rung. So, stay mentally charged. Keep that positive mental attitude, that PMA. Don't ever find yourself, I hope you don't ever find yourself in a situation where it's you against some wild animal. There's a ton of them out there where just people did not make it. A lot of bear attacks up in Wyoming and stuff like that, and some other places where grizzlies roam. You hear stories, you don't hear them, but you can find them all day long about people being attacked by bears and just simply not making it. And I would hate to be in that situation for sure. But anyways, I just definitely wanted to shout out to this Travis Kauffman kid and give him props on staying alert and staying positively mentally aware of his ability to not only fend off this attack from this mountain lion, but to make that ultimate decision and killing it and ensuring he goes home. Anyways, you guys, I hope to keep these rants coming. Feel free to hit me up. Feel free to check me out on Anchor now. That's where I'm podcasting these rants from. Go check out Anchor. Download it. It's a great app. You can even start your own rant. And we can, get together and talk about stuff. I don't know. It's exciting. It's new. It's something that I'm going to keep doing. I look forward to hearing all you guys. Hey, you guys have a great President's Day weekend. I know I'm going to enjoy my 3-day, and we'll see you on the other side.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.